All right, market has just opened. High time frame wise, we are pretty bullish right now on the 4 hour and the 1 hour time frame. And these would be my next draws on liquidity higher. Um, First things first, though, in order to target these draws higher, we need to sufficiently close above and displace past these internal highs, which I have marked out with these dotted lines. So that's my main bias is bullish, because the 1 hour, 4 hour charts are bullish. We're holding 4 hour gaps, um, holding bullish structure thus far, holding this bullish daily gap. Um, and so these are my next draws. However, I have this sell side marked out here and here just in case price wants to like obviously displace lower. If price obviously displaces lower um, and dumps, then we could treat this 4 hour liquidity as like the external draw and maybe potentially targeting this 1 hour sell side, but that's like a pretty internal low. Would definitely need to be very, very obvious um, in terms of taking a trade to this low. But right now it looks like we're getting bought up. So coming up here, need to see us close above this internal high. If we can do so, then I would have confidence targeting this buy side liquidity up here. And you can see kind of holding these 15-minute gaps, holding this 1 hour gap we're holding for the time being. So we'll see what happens. We have news at 30 minutes into market open at 10 a.m. But it's also a Monday, so definitely not gonna force anything if it's not A plus. And so yeah, patient on a Monday, and we will see what price wants to do here. All right, I am now locked out of my account. I'm gonna make this video very, very short. There's no reason to drag this video on. Today we kind of just chopped around. Like I said, we failed to displace above this internal high. We then rejected lower and just chopped. And my analysis is because of the current geopolitical uncertainty and geopolitical risk and the back and forth headlines, I think we're going to chop around at least to start the week until there is resolution to if we're going to escalate things or if we're going to come to a potential agreement and a potential ceasefire. Trump originally said that he was going to, like, the original deadline was Monday morning, this morning. Yesterday, he then pushed it back to Tuesday night. So it looks like tomorrow night a decision will be made. And I think the markets are kind of just waiting for that decision as well. Because, right, if things escalate, that is very, very bearish for the markets. If there's a ceasefire put in place and there's an agreement that's made, it will be a bullish, a short-term bullish tailwind for the markets, and we could potentially see us retrace a bit higher here. But as of now, the markets are kind of just waiting for that to come out. And geopolitical uncertainty and overall market uncertainty is going to lead to market chop, right? It's pretty straightforward. So I don't expect there to be a significant move until a set in stone decision is made. There could be some potential headlines, but I think the markets are getting pretty exhausted with these back and forth bullish and bearish headlines. So until there's a set in stone decision, we're either going to escalate or there's an agreement that has come into place. I think the markets are going to chop and expecting that news to drop on Tuesday, tomorrow, after the market is closed. So Tuesday, tomorrow might very likely be another choppy morning unless something changes between now and then. But that's the market recap for me. Never zoomed past the 5 minute, never even zoomed into the 1 minute chart this morning. Just chop work. If you want to avoid chop, set these parameters in place like I did coming into the market with my pre-market analysis and wait for price to displace past those parameters, right? I set these parameters with the internal highs. We had already swept out this high and put in another internal high. I don't want to take longs until we move past this area of rejection. Price is clearly struggling to move past this area. I want to see us displace past it, and if I'm going to take a long. If I'm going to take a short, I wanted to see us displace past these internal lows that we put in, and have obvious displacement down. We never got that. No reason to zoom in, and it's so easy to avoid choppy days like this when you set those parameters in place. So if you're struggling with that, I would highly recommend doing the same. If you took a loss today, I think there's a lot of value in that. And so yeah, that's the market recap. I'm not going to drag this on too long. Monday, no trades. We will see what happens later on in the week. So, with that being said, I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.